honor of Gittel and Gottel and all of those who fought against the Nazis, Rosalie has for us the partisan song.
Sag nicht kein Mal, Song of the Partisans, is perhaps the best known of the Yiddish songs created during World War II. Here's its story. In April 1943, a fierce battle occurred between a group of Jewish partisans and an SS detachment in the forest near Warsaw. After hearing of this Warsaw ghetto uprising, Hirsch Glick, poet from the Vilna ghetto, wrote, "Never say that you have reached the final road," and his lyrics were set to a pre-war tune composed by for the Soviet cinema, the Cossacks' Marching Song. When the Vilna ghetto was destroyed, Glick was caught by the Gestapo and deported to an Estonian labor camp. He escaped, but was later killed fighting the Nazis. This song was adopted as the official anthem of the Jewish fighters and spread quickly to other ghettos and camps. The partisans sang it with their pistols and grenades in their hands, with walls crashing down on them, fighting for freedom from the Nazis. It became the symbol of the resistance against Nazi Germany's persecution of the Jews and the Holocaust. Never say that you have reached the final road. Sag nicht kein Mal. Never say this is the final road for you. Though darkened skies may be concealing days of blue, the time we've longed for will at last draw near.
Thank you, Rosalie. I'd like to share with you the story of Ezio, la storia di Eduardo, the story of Edward, who was in his late 70s when he told me his story. He started out with what he knew, the cattle car. He said it was the first place of death. Some said the cattle cars were called death on wheels. There were no sanitary conditions. Sickness and death were all around. The elderly and the children, they were the first to die. Questo posto del bestiame era il primo luogo di morte. Alcuni hanno detto che che questo posto del bestiame erano morte su ruote. Non c'erano condizioni igieniche, siccità e la morte è tutto intorno. Gli anziani e i bambini furono I primi a morire. Babies born under these awful conditions did not live. Their mothers were starving. They had no milk. I believe, says Eduardo, I believe I was born shortly before my parents were forced on the train, probably to Auschwitz. I don't know for certain, because I don't know who I am. I bambini nati sono queste terribili condizioni non vivevano. Le loro madri morivano di fame e non avevano latte. Credo di essere nato poco prima che I miei genitori fossero costretti a prendere il treno per Auschwitz. Non lo so, per certo, perché non so chi sono. I don't know who my parents were, and I will probably never know. What I do know is that somebody, probably my mother, was forced on a train to go to a death camp. As I said, it may have been Auschwitz. Non so chi fossero I miei genitori, non lo saprò mai. Quello che so è che qualcuno, probabilmente mia madre, è stato costretto su un treno per andare in un campo di sterminio, forse Auschwitz. I was told that it was winter. It was very cold. The ground was covered with snow. My mother must have had a plan because she stuffed me inside a cushion, probably like this, to protect me. She planned to save my life by throwing me out of the window of the train. Mi è stato detto che era inverno, molto freddo, il terreno era coperto di neve. Mia madre deve aver avuto un piano perché mi ha infilato dentro un materasso, un cuscino, per proteggermi. Ha pianificato di salvarmi la vita gettandomi fuori dal finestro del treno. And that's exactly what she did. I know this because a Polish family found me. They told me that I was crying and crying. They heard my cries. They wanted to rescue me, but it was so dangerous they waited until dark. They went finally near the train tracks, and that's where they found me. They told me that when they found me, they tried to read the words on the tag that my mother had tied around my neck. E questo e quello ha fatto. Lo so perché una famiglia polacca mi ha trovato. Mi hanno detto che stavo piangendo e piangendo e piangendo. Hanno sentito le mie grida e ho aspettato fino al buio. Sono andati vicino al binario e mi hanno trovato. Mi hanno detto che quando mi hanno trovato hanno cercato di leggere le parole sul cartellino che la mia madre mi aveva legato al collo. The Polish family told me that they tried and tried to decipher the words on the tag. They wanted to know my name, but the snow that had been covering me melted through the cushion. My name was not only smeared, it was washed away. La famiglia polacca mi ha detto che hanno provato e provato a decifrare le parole sull'etichetta. Volevano sapere il mio nome, ma la neve mi ha coperto e si è sciolto attraverso il mio materasso, la cuscina. Il mio nome è stato imbrattato, è stato lavato via. So, I grew up in the Polish Catholic family that saved my life. They gave me a name, Ezio, and after the war, my Polish mother told me the story and told me I was Jewish. I am grateful, so grateful to my real mother, who had the courage to throw me from the train and save me from certain death in Auschwitz. And I thank the Polish Catholic family who found me and who saved my life. Così sono cresciuto in una famiglia cattolica polacca che mi ha salvato la vita. Mi hanno dato il nome Ezio e dopo la guerra mi hanno detto che ero ebreo. Sono grato a mia madre che ha avuto il coraggio, l'intelligenza di buttarmi dal treno a salvarmi da morte certa ad Auschwitz. E ringrazio la famiglia cattolica polacca che mi ha trovato, mi ha chiamato e mi ha salvato la vita. Ma molte volte mi chiedo chi erano i miei genitori. Come erano? Dove ho vissuto? Quando è il mio compleanno? Qual è il mio nome? A causa dell'Olocausto non saprò mai chi sono. But many times, even to this day, I wonder, who were my parents? What were they like? Where did I live? How old am I? When is my birthday? What is my name? Because of the Holocaust, I will never know who I am. Edward Ezio has passed on, and unfortunately it was before the DNA testing became popular, and maybe even before it was invented. And had he lived, he might have been able to find a relative and maybe have been able to follow the chain backwards to his origins. But he never knew his identity. And for all the nameless ones, we remember them.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry. For even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar. Know that I'm with you, the only way that I can be. Until you're in my arms again, remember me. Recuérdame, si en tu mente vive estoy. Recuérdame, mis sueños yo te doy. Te llevo en mi corazón y te acompañé. Unidos nuestra canción, contigo estaré. Recuérdame, for I will soon be gone. Remember me, and let the love we have live on. Know that I'm with you, the only way that I can be. Until you're in my arms again, remember me. Recuérdame. Remember me.
Thank you, Rosalie. So beautiful. We take a moment for quiet prayer, meditation, reflection. As we think about those who lost, we think of the lives that were, those who lived and how their lives were affected. We think about what we can do. What is it that we can do in our lives as anti-Semitism grows, unfortunately, around the world? The poem is called Breaking Laws. It's by Janet Kirshheimer, and she wrote it in honor of her father, who was a Kristallnacht and camp survivor. Janet Kirshheimer's poem in honor of her father, Breaking Laws. Kristallnacht, broken glass. Nazis arrest him, a 16-year-old boy. Dachau, November 1938, a striped cotton uniform, and it's almost winter. He shares a bunk with a man in his 50s who freezes to death one night. The next morning, a capo tells him, take off the man's long underwear and do it quickly before the SS come for the body, because you will freeze at night too if you don't. Now, it is the custom of some Jews not to wear the clothes from a dead body. And the rabbis teach, however, to save one's life, one must break custom. So he washes the underwear that night and places it over a chair next to the wood stove to dry, and he sleeps on it still damp to make sure that no one will steal it. El Male Rachamim is an ancient chant, and it reminds us that our souls, when we pass to the other side, are bound up with God in everlasting love. Dio piena di misericordia che abita sopra, ricordaci della tua presenza divino qui, in basso, dove i cuori si spezzano mentre scorri il sangue. Durante la Shoah abbiamo perso 6 milioni uomini, donne e bambini per odio antisemita. Riposi sulla ali della presenza divina alle anime di questi individui, le cui vite sono state prese troppo presto. Il Dio eterno e la loro eredità e possano riposare in pace nelle braccia amorevoli di Dio, e diciamo Amen. And I'd like to sing the Italian melody for you of El Male Rachamim in honor of all those that we lost, beginning with Kristallnacht and continuing through the long years of the war. And it is customary to rise in body or spirit for El Male Rachamim, and will remain standing for the Mourner's Kaddish. El Male Rachamim, Shochen b'maromim, Hamze menucha nechona tachat, kanfei hashikina, im kadoshim utorim, k'zohar harakia mazhirim et nishmat, Yakirenu b'nei Yisrael, shehalu la'amam, ba'al harachamim, yasteram b'tzetek navav, lo'lamim, ve'yitzror B'tziror ha'chaim et nishmatam, Adonai hu nachalatam, v'tanuchu b'shalom, al mishkavam v'nomar, Amen. And we remain standing in body or spirit as we recite together Yidgadal, Ve'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'elma divrach harutei v'yamlik malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye decho Beit Israel, Ba'agala u'v'izman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivarak Le'elam Olamei Almaya Yitbarak Ve'yishtabach Ve'yitpa'ar Ve'yit Romam Ve'yit Nasei Ve'yit Hadar Ve'yit Halei Ve'yit Halal Shmei Dikudisha Berechu Le'elam Min Kol Birchata Ve'shirata Tush Bechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'akol Israel V'imru. Amen. Osei Shalom Bimromav Huya Sei Shalom Aleinu Ve'akol Israel V'imru. Amen. May God grant peace to all who mourn and comfort to any one of us this night who is bereaved as we mourn for all lost beginning this Kristallnacht night. And let us say together, Amen. You may be seated, and I'd like to talk with you for just a moment about resilience. We talked about remembrance. We're going to talk about the resilience as well as of the Jewish people. Remembrance, resistance, and now resilience. Sergio della Pergola is a child of the Holocaust. He was born in Trieste, Italy in 1942. He survived to become the leading authority in the analysis of worldwide Jewish population. And specifically, he studied the effect of the factory killing of Jews under the Nazis and applied those statistics to modern-day Jewish numbers. Given that we know that there are approximately 16 million Jews worldwide, and given that somewhere close to 6 million Jews were murdered by the Nazis, Della Pergola asks a question that has crossed the minds of many of us. What would the Jewish population be today if the Holocaust had not happened? Della Pergola found that had the Holocaust not happened, there would be 32 million Jews in the world today. 32 million Jews. So what does it mean to us when we hear statistics like that? It certainly gives us pause for all that we've lost, but it does something else as well. Consider this, that between 1901 and 2020, that's in the last 119 years, 208 Jews have won a Nobel Prize. That's 22% of all the Nobel Prizes awarded during those years. And when we look at the last 20 years, since 2000, 27% of the prizes won in the scientific field were awarded to Jewish men and women. Amazing in many ways, but mostly because Jews currently make up only 0.2% or 0.2% of the world's population. From shards of broken glass, we have risen up. We have become shining stars. And as we learn in Psalm 126, as we move from sorrows to simcha, from sadness to joy, the psalmist tells us that those who sow in tears, those who have experienced profound tragedy, the unspeakable personal loss brought to them by the Holocaust, and the loss that all of us feel when we think back to those days, the psalmist assures us that we will rise up, that we will move forward. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Rosalie.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow our tear-filled eyes, those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. It's a song of the dreamer. From the dark place it grows like a flower in the desert, the oasis of our souls. Come back where we belong. You who hear our longing sighs, our mouths, our lips are filled with song. You can see our tear-filled eyes. Those who sow in tears will reap with joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
Thank you so much, Rosalie. Thank you. A beautiful arrangement by Debbie Friedman of blessed memory. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. And as we reach the end of our commemoration, we ask, well, what is our responsibility? And what can we realistically do to make never again a reality? Especially when we consider that many of those who were eyewitnesses to Nazi horror are sadly no longer with us. The number of living survivors is dwindling, and in 10 years from now, the few survivors who remain will be quite fragile, probably immobile, and possibly very ill, especially since they will all be well over 90 years old. In these days when anti-Semitic activity is on the rise, what can we do to promote Holocaust understanding? And here are several considerations. Do you have friends who have Holocaust experiences that are yet to be told? If they feel uncomfortable discussing what happened to them, emphasize that the time is of the essence, and that the more willing eyewitnesses are to share their stories, the greater the opportunity to combat anti-Semitism and foster tolerance and understanding. Are you a child or grandchild of Holocaust survivors? Do you have friends whose parents or grandparents are survivors? Psychologists report that there are specific behaviors, emotions, and reactions experienced by children whose parents survived the Shoah. These children and grandchildren, many of whom are now adults, have a unique story to tell, and through them the long-term effects of the Holocaust on Jewish families will not be denied. Are you a child survivor of the Holocaust? Did you and your parents escape Nazi persecution? Were you hidden? Did your parents make the ultimate sacrifice by sending you to safety via the Kindertransport? Or did they hide you with compassionate Christians? If so, you have valuable experiences to share. In recent years, psychologists have written about the credibility of childhood impressions and have come to understand that even children as young as 6 or 7 have memories that should be acknowledged. If you were a child during the Holocaust and experienced family upheaval or loss, do not minimize your story. One child victim, her name is Clara, she's now in her mid-90s, she recalls, quote, Our family was forced to abandon our home and our business and to leave Germany in a matter of hours. When asked why she was reluctant to share her story, Clara said, "But I wasn't in a camp. I'm not a real survivor." Survivors like Clara will soon be the voice of Kristallnacht commemorations and Holocaust remembrance. It is important that they have the chance to tell their stories in an atmosphere that is welcoming and respectful. Survivor Magda Rosenberg, whose entire family was murdered in Auschwitz, puts it well when she cautions, "We're dying out. It feels like another 10 years there won't be a Holocaust survivor left. If indeed our numbers are diminishing and survivor status is changing, it is imperative that our definition of Holocaust survivor becomes more inclusive. And as we age, we welcome those who have their childhood stories to tell." Speaking of telling the story of the Holocaust, we are in the very beginnings, in the middle of this month, just in a week or so now, of launching our upper elementary and middle school program to teach children about the Holocaust and to examine anti-bullying behavior and anti-Semitic behavior, because researchers now agree that it is at that upper elementary school age and middle school age when many of these attitudes begin and grow. And so we will be taking our program to elementary schools and also training teachers in the United States to be able to present it to middle school students as well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask our engineer Tricia to put our foundation email up in the chat, nertamiditaly.org. If you'd like to help us in that effort, we would be most grateful. Alan Freshman, also a poet, writes these words. And the title of his poem is "I Looked Out at Life with Holocaust Eyes." Alan Freshman. I could not help but see life through my Holocaust eyes until these Holocaust pangs smoldered and burned its acrid smoke in my eye sockets. I peeled away its painful gauze and ace bandages. My eyes had once lamented over the Holocaust afflictions, but now I could see with clarion eyes and feel anew with my Jewish heart by virtue of Holocaust healing balm. As it clarified the lens, fluid and muscles of my eyes, and now this healing balm paved a shimmering path within me for my Jewish heart to emerge and then shine its splendor outwards on straight and forward paths of life. Moving forward, moving forward. Our concluding melody is Lechilach, a song that recalls words from the Torah, words we find in Genesis and Bereshit when God says to Abraham, "Go forth to the land I will show you." The Hebrew Lech Lecha is translated as "go to yourself," "find yourself," suggesting that Abram's journey is not simply to leave his father's land and to venture to the promised land, but rather that his journey includes a deeper understanding of who he is and what it means to be a Jew. Abraham's challenge is indeed our challenge. Lechilach.
Lechilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechilach, on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall shall be a blessing. L'chilach, l'chilach, and I shall make your name great. L'cha, and all shall praise your name. L'chilach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat kochma, l'chilach. And you shall be a blessing, you shall be a blessing, you shall be a blessing. Debbie Friedman.
Thank you, Rosalie. A very special thank you to Rosalie Leon for her beautiful voice and gorgeous music this evening, on this our Kristallnacht commemoration. And before we say goodbye, we make the Kohanim blessing, because indeed you are a blessing. You are a blessing to me and to each other, that you took the time out of what I know can be a very busy schedule with much to do, home and family commitments, to share this hour with us today, and to examine, think about, and consider what we might do to quell the rising tide of anti-Semitism. And so the first thing is to think about it, to become aware. And that's what all of you have done this evening. And for that, I know that I speak for Rosalie when I say that we are truly grateful. The Kohanim blessing has been prayed for 3,000 years, starting with Aaron and Moses, and it is prayed for all of you tonight. And I'm going to take my tallit and open it up here, because I'm going to gather all of you in this blessing. Yivarech Adonai v'yishmerecha, ti benedicha Dio, ti kostodiska. May God bless you and keep you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, rivolga Dios ovolto verso di te, ti dia gratia. May the light of God shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Rivolga Dios volto verso di te, ti concede la pace. May God's presence be with you and give you peace, as we all say together. Amen. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we want to thank Trish, our engineer, for making it all possible, technologically speaking. I don't know about you, but ever since the 2 years of COVID, I've had to really overcome being a techno-klutz. Maybe that has been your experience as well. We can say goodbye if some of you need to go, but otherwise, Trish, maybe we can open up the mics, and if you'd like to say hello and tell us where you're from, we would be very happy to do that right now. Let me open this up here. Oh, lots of folks here. How nice to see all of you. How nice to see all of you this evening, this afternoon. I see Mary there. That means this morning for Mary in California. Anybody like to say hello and tell us where you're from? Just put your hand up.
Alexandra, Fideli, Arona.
And where are you, Alexandra?
We are in Brazil, South, but we are from
our parents are Italians.
Italians from Calabria.
Oh, how nice. From Brazil. How nice to have you. Thanks for joining us. Anyone else like to say hello? Yes, right there. Shoshana.
Yes, I'm a Dutch artist who lived in New York, and now I'm in Berlin. And I would go tonight to one of these celebrations, but I have not celebrations, I mean memorials, but I have too much to do. I'm at my easel in my studio, and I'm extremely happy that you are doing this. So I can stay home and commemorate because my parents are survivors.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you.
survivors that passed away, but
And the story is so important. Keep their memory alive. Continue to tell their story, Shoshana. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
Anyone else like to say hello and tell us where you are?
Arthur?
Arthur?
Yeah, I'm my family's from the island of Rhodes.
Hello, Arthur. How are you? Hello.
But my grandmother and her sister died. The island of Rhodes was Italy took control of the island in 1912, and then Mussolini eventually fell and the Germans took over. The British were bombing German ships in the harbor of Rhodes, and some of the bombs fell short and landed in the Jewish quarter.
That's right.
And my grandmother and her sister were killed by British bombs who were bombing the Germans. Shortly after that, the Jewish community of Rhodes was taken off. And I just a few weeks ago, I learned that that was the last shipment of Jews to arrive in Auschwitz before the Russians came to liberate it. But I always go to our annual Holocaust commemoration, and they often ask people who lost relatives to stand up at one point. And I asked the rabbi if I count, could I count my grandmother and her sister as Holocaust victims? And they said yes, because they died because of the Germans.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am resident rabbi in Rhodes every year for the month of June, and yes, and I've learned about the story. And we have a bar and bat mitzvah program, families that come to show their children, their sons and daughters, that there are places in the world where it was not easy to be Jewish. And the children that I work with dedicate their bar bat mitzvah to one of the children who were on those transports that you described, Arthur. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else like to share with us today? Say hi and tell us where you are.
Hi.
Rosemary?
Who are we?
I'm Rosemary Riley. Rosemary Carpino Riley, I should
Hello,
say.
Rosemary Kujina.
Hello, Kujina. Rabbi Barbara is my cousin, and we discovered each other and my Jewish ancestry through her help. And for that, I am grateful.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. Yes, thank goodness for the DNA and ancestry. It's tragic that Ezio did not have the opportunity to examine that. It's a wonderful story, though. He was a wonderful man. May he rest in peace. Anyone else like to share before we say goodbye? Yes, Leah.
Greetings from Niedertal, Germany, just north of Frankfurt. Rabbi Barbara and I are members of the European Virtual Minyan, and if anyone is interested in joining, we have a service usually on a Sunday evening, or it's a weekday service, Ma'ariv, and in the summertime it is Mincha. So if anyone wants to join, I will put my address in the chat. Please send me an email, and I'll be glad to put you on my mailing list. Last Sunday, it was 2 Sundays ago actually, it was Barbara and I leading, and Rabbi Barbara was wonderful. Do come, she will be leading again, co-leading on the 25th of December. So I will put my name here and just shoot me an email and let me know, and I'll just add you to the list.
And Leah is a wonderful cantor, and it's a joy to sing. It's a joy to have her sing in the service, and I know you will enjoy it if you'd like to join with us. We'd love to have you. Anyone else like to say hello? Tell us where you're from.
Well, I will.
Okay.
I'm in Sarasota, Florida, and we did. You know, we were hit by a hurricane, and another one's coming to Florida. You know that.
You had 3 alligators in your front yard, didn't you?
We had alligators. Yeah.
I know. Oy.
We had a water view. I mean, we live in the country, but we had, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi to everybody. I'm so glad you're here, and I love participating with Rabbi Barbara. And you all know she had a birthday recently, so let's all wish her
last
happy
Sunday,
birthday.
last Sunday, milestone birthday, 75. Woo!
3/4 of a century.
I know.
3/4 of a century. Welcome to 75. It doesn't hurt a bit now, does it?
I'm getting over it there.
Get over it. Get over it. There's more to come.
Hello, Irene and Alex. Good
I'll
to
say
see
goodbye
you.
to everybody. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
It was lovely to hear
Irene
you.
and Alex from Cleveland, and thank you so much for the wonderful, heartfelt, heart-wrenching commemoration. It's always, incredible. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's so good to see you, to both of you. Hello, I see Alberto. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
You're Albert Casino in the United States. I'm in Washington, D.C. area, and was looking forward to this, and it's been very impressive, and I'm deeply moved. So thank you very much.
Thank you. It's so nice to see you. Well, I think it's about time for us to say goodbye. Anybody have, and if you have a question or anything, by all means, you can put it in the trash. We say thank you again to Trish. Thank you, our engineer, for making it all possible technologically. Another big thanks, and of course, in Hebrew Sign Language, excellent is Yofi. This is how you do Yofi. Let's give Rosalie a Yofi for beautiful, beautiful music. Thank you. And thank you for being with us. And we will be having a Hanukkah commemoration, and of course we send you out a notice, and our newsletter is coming out. And you can follow me on Facebook as well, because we put some interesting things up there from time to time. And if you would like to make a donation, of course, we're very, very grateful. nertamiditaly.org is our not-for-profit foundation. So thank you so much, and be well and take care. And it's coming up, well, I guess we're almost to past midweek, so we can say an early Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Good night, everyone.
Arrivederci. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Buonanotte.